Hey everyone, and welcome to Software Hard Tech. Today, the software topic we're diving into is
Android and Apple.
So what exactly are the differences between the two systems? Which is better, Android or Apple? You could say it is the never-ending debate in the tech world. One has better performance, the other has a better camera. But as a software reviewer, what I really care about is the difference between the Android and iOS systems themselves. First off, installing apps is handled differently. On iOS, all software must be downloaded from the App Store, whereas Android is much more open. Whether it is from an app store, a browser, or an installation package, shared in some group chat, you can just go ahead and install it, ignoring all the risks. And yep, that right there is the fundamental difference between the two. As we all know, Apple is like that arrogant, overbearing CEO.
It is my way or the highway.
If Apple decides you do not need something, they really will not give it to you. For example, we have been complaining about this for years, but the iPhone still will not let you swipe from the right side of the screen to go back. You can only swipe from left to right. But what is not so well known is that within many apps, there are already plenty of situations where you need to swipe from left to right. For example, let us say you are browsing Weibo's trending topics. You tap more to see the full list, and you will notice that on the left side of the trending list, there is also a Me tab. So when you swipe from left to right here, you will naturally land on the Me tab, and you have to swipe again just to go back to the previous screen.
So elegant.
Here's another one. When you are reading a comic or a PDF in Apple's native Files app, swiping from left to right brings up the page preview. It is like you are stuck in a loop.
Getting in was easy enough.
And now you're stuck!
Haha, so if you want to go back, you are stuck tapping that little back button in the top left corner. Meanwhile, Android's global swipe to go back gesture is just so much better. Let us not even get started on that. Another example is the push notification system. Because of iOS's unified push mechanism, messages have to go through Apple servers before they get to the app. This is why you often see delays with notifications on iOS. So you finally get the notification, tap the app, and then it has to reconnect to the internet and load everything all over again. It is like when you get a new phone and your old one. But if you can live with all that, what about these missing features? How do you even deal with those? Take IR blasters and NFC for keyless entry. For example, these have been standard features on Android for ages, but Apple, they are still like, no, we are good. And get this, the iOS alarm does not recognize public holidays or adjusted workdays. So every time a holiday comes around, the iPhone alarm fails to go off and it ends up trending on social media. On Android, you can even set it for single day weekends or alternating work weeks. And then there are scrolling screenshots and app cloning. These are like the most basic features you would expect, and Apple has none of them. This arrogant attitude of forcing users to either adapt or figure it out themselves, who else could pull that off besides Lord Apple? So I know I have been roasting Apple for a while now, but that is not the main point I am trying to make here. But it is not like iOS does not have its strengths. First off, the system is incredibly clean. There are absolutely no ads, aside from the App Store. On Android, you have got all sorts of ads. They are on your lock screen, in the weather app, all over your -1 screen. You even open a folder, and there are ads at the bottom. You name it, they have got it. And while you can turn off these ads, it just takes, a little bit of your time still. It is super annoying. But it is not like iOS is a silver bullet either. When you are up against all the endless splash screen ads, pop-up ads, and those shake to open as well, there's nothing you can do about them. Let us give Apple all the way across the pond a little taste of that mysterious Eastern power.
Wow.
So besides having a clean ad-free system, there's another advantage of iOS that we have mentioned earlier. On iOS, you can only download apps from the App Store. This actually nips the problem of malicious software in the bud. Exactly, on Android, pretty much any app you download will ask for permission to install other apps from unknown sources. I wonder when you all went home for the holidays, did you ever check the phones of your parents or grandparents? Capcom, take some notes. THIS is what a real Resident Evil looks like. Okay. So aside from the operating systems themselves, let us look at how things work on Android versus iOS.
Talk about having two faces.
Exactly. It is like that old saying, oranges grown south of the Huai River are sweet, but the same oranges grown north of it are bitter. The same app on Android is like sun, Hongle, but on iOS, it is Ma Dongmei. And when it comes to renovations, you cannot forget Huang Dahui. In the iOS version of WeChat, you can swipe a chat bubble to the left to delete the conversation or perform other actions. On Android, you just long press it. The great thing about this is you can swipe left or right to switch between these 4 pages, which you cannot do on iOS. Once you're in the chat on Android, you can long press the photo icon to open your native camera, but on iOS, you are stuck using WeChat's camera, and that is it. Also, when you get a message, tapping the notification on Android takes you straight to the chat, but on iOS, it just opens the app to wherever you left off last.
Where did they send me?
The workaround is to just long press or swipe down on the notification to get a quick reply option. What you are asking about Android? On Android, it just opens in a floating window. But besides that, the biggest difference has to be WeChat mini programs. On Android, mini programs run in their own separate background process. So even if you clear WeChat from your recent apps, the mini program will still be running in the background. But on iOS, it is a different story. The mini programs are tied to WeChat. They do not have a separate background process or their own entry in the task switcher. You have to tap the close button in the top right corner to get back to the main WeChat interface. So on iOS, you tap the back button on the left to exit. Then tap the floating window icon, and the mini program will be sent to the sidebar. You can add up to 5 floating windows. It is basically like having a separate background process for mini programs within WeChat, allowing you to switch between them quickly, and it stays on top of everything. Now, the Android version also has this floating window feature. When you tap it, it minimizes to the top left corner of WeChat, and that is all it does. The moment you switch to another app, it is gone. It is just not as convenient as the iOS version. So all in all, even today, there are still some pretty big differences between Android and iOS. But at the end of the day, it really just comes down to a matter of style and personal preference. Android is packed with features and offers a ton of customization. There is no such thing as a perfect system, only the one that is perfect for you.